Okay. So you mentioned the musical before.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, how do we get hold of you if we wanted to get for the EP thing on Tuesday?
Oh, yes. Okay. So all the information you will need to join on Tuesday and to buy the CD, the EP, and to follow us and find out more news about the musical. Everything you need is right there. AlienLoveChildMusical.com.
All right. All right. And before we get more on the musical, I just want to reiterate that you also do the Drag Queen Story Hour.
Yes.
That is going gangbusters for you.
It is. We have, so, here in New York City, I forget how long it hasn't been that long that Drag Queen Story Hour has started here in New York. So I want to say maybe 6 years, maybe a little bit more, but not very long. But once again, I was at the beginning of the Drag Queen Story Hour movement here in New York City, and now it's taken off all over the place. In Vermont, you have Emoji and
Nikki, yes,
Nikki doing it. So it's really taken off right quick, and I have to say it's so rewarding in my life, because what I see is when I get to read stories, to the children, of course, their parents and caregivers are there, and I get to see young queer kids being nurtured and loved for who they are and supported in their journey. And then I get to see parents who are doing this, and really supporting, the diversity that they want their children to see in the world.
How exciting.
It is.
And you're still doing your 2 drinks minimum show?
Yes, we do that. Okay, so we started what we call Church with a 2 drink minimum, which actually was the inspiration for the musical Church of the Alien Love Child. But anyway, we started Church with a 2 drink minimum a long time ago, actually. Yeah. And we were doing it in all the bars and clubs and everything here in New York City until COVID, of course. And then now we continue to do it online with hosted by a group called awakeningtogether.org. And it has we've been able to reach more people, actually, people from all over the world, like you were saying before, So there are pros and cons, right, about having adjusted ourselves to online performances. There are certainly pros and cons to that. We have not been able to go back to the clubs yet in New York City, but we plan to. Yeah.
Oh, good. So,
yeah.
And you brought some of that show up to one of the Winter is a Drag Balls, and it was phenomenal. But we've got the trailer for your musical, so let's watch that. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. All right now.
That is so exciting. So how did you start the process of writing the musical, and what's the process, and where are you in that process?
Well, okay, so 2016, I was doing one of my shows at Easton Mountain. Do you know Easton Mountain?
Here in New York. Yeah.
Yep. And after my show, this young radical fairy playwright walked up to me, and he introduced himself. His name is Justin Taylor. He was showing a little picture there. he said, "You so inspire me. I would really like to write a play about your story," because I was talking, I was doing my show and telling my stories and things like that. So I was like, oh, well, that's intriguing. Okay, I've already got all the music written because I've been chronicling my story in music for all these years. So we sat down and did a series of interviews. And what came to the surface was my gender journey, my journey with spirituality and art and gender and how they intertwine. And what I realized was, and we wrote this in the play, was speaking to myself, you will be misunderstood until you understand yourself. And that was sort of the key that helped us create this journey. So it's not like a linear thing. It's like, okay, she was born here and this happened and that happened and that. It's about following the path of how I discover my true gender identity and how that intertwines with music and spirituality. So it's been a very interesting process. In 2018, we actually did stage the show, which is why some of those pictures are on stage. And then in 2019, we were doing rewrites with the hopes of staging it again in 2020. But then, of course, all of this happened. So now the concept album is really a good idea because we're getting the connection between the music and the libretto, which was kind of what we were working on in the rewrites. So it's the concept album thing is really doing a good thing for us. And we plan to stage it again in 2023. So next year, 2022, we're going to finish the concept album, and then our staging of it will be in 2023. So
girl, excuse me. You and I were born the same year.
Yeah.
Speed it up.
I know, right? Well, I have to proudly say I turned 65 this year, and I can't believe it.
Oh,
I know, right?
I laugh every time it says how old are you. I say I'm 65, and I start laughing.
I know, it's ridiculous. But of course, all of us.
But then they go, "You're only 65."
But you know what? It's the greatest time in my life. Like, so, I have a lot of energy. I know that I'll be around for a few more years. So,
Yes, we hope so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what do you how do you spend your days, Yolanda? I know you have this project, you have the musical, but when that's not in your mind or that's not your project, what do you do?
Well, lately, and this is the big news, I guess, because I haven't really publicly said it. Maybe I did on one of your other interviews with me, but Glenn and I bought some land in southern Vermont, and we've been driving back and forth from Brooklyn to New York to work on the land for we bought it in 2020, May of 2020. So we've actually been working on it now for about a little over a year and a half. And that is really a lot of work too. So my, my off time from performing is really about getting our land together and getting our home together, because my goal, my dream is to, live in Vermont again. And, I'll always keep my apartment here in New York. And of course I'll go back and forth to do things, but Vermont is special to me, and it's where I want to live, so.
What drew us here? What drew us here to Vermont? Because I grew up in the Midwest and I ended up in Vermont. You grew up in Alabama. You ended up in Vermont. Something drew us here.
Mississippi, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Yeah, Lucy Bell was our foreign exchange student from Mississippi.
I know. How did we all get there?
There's something special. Is it the lake? Is it the mountains? Yeah. Is it Champ? I don't know what it is, but something definitely brought us together.
Yeah.
All right. So after the musical, what do you want to do with your land? That's okay. Let me get back to your land. What would you like to do with that land?
Yeah, that's really cool because so our dream for that is sort of like a sustainable permaculture type place where we would grow our own food and as much food as we can for everybody around and that kind of thing. We want to create like a sanctuary, you know, for ourselves and for community, you know, for queer community. And it just so happens that in that little town where we bought land, it's called Wyndham. It's very small, and it's about 20 miles north of Brattleboro. There just happened to be a lot of queer folk in that area. Who knew?
Yeah.
So we're making friends and we're creating community, and you know, the intention is to create a what we're calling a food forest. So we have flat land where we can grow vegetables and things like that, and we want to have some animals, you know, and then our land sort of slopes up and we have this beautiful, gorgeous forest, you know. So in there we want to cultivate, there's some apple trees and different types of fruit trees in there. So we want to cultivate that and just make it beautiful and lush and, you know, hopefully have enough food, you know, to feed ourselves and our friends and our community.
So how many acres? What's the acreage?
It's 4.5 acres.
Wow.
And it's right off a paved road, which is actually really good because for a while I lived in Huntington off a dirt road, and in the winter it was really hard.
Yeah.
So even though we're out in the country and everything, I just kind of really wanted a paved road. So we have this really accessible road at the front of our property, and then it slopes up and spreads out like this for 4.5 acres, and it's just glorious. We have a pond and trees, and you gotta come when we get out.
Oh, definitely. Build a stage.
Well, yeah, that's one piece of it. Yeah, so a performance area, all of that. You know what I mean? Like that's our dream. So
well, how exciting! Let's show that email or the address again for this Tuesday nights, or how you can get contact with alienlovechildmusical.com. That tells everything what's going on Tuesday with the Elong Play record as well as the musical. So you want to check that out. Yolanda, so good to talk to you.
Amber, in the course of these long interviews, sometimes things get forgotten. And it's not you tonight, but Yolanda sent in a picture that I think she wanted to show tonight, and we didn't get around to it.
It brings back old memories, and
it brings back old memories. Yeah.
Taken by our good friend Matt Thorson, correct? Yes. Was that Matt? Yes. Oh my God! And that was published in Out in the Mountains, which was the gay newspaper. Oh, the hubbub about that!
Oh, I was crazy. I was so outrageous back then, just trying to shock folks, you know.
Oh, who caused more trouble, you or me?
I don't know. Let's just flip a coin.
But we both did.
We did. We were provocateurs.
All right. Before you leave, we're going to close out this segment. We're going to play Angels. Tell us the story about the song Angels.
Well, once again, I wrote this at Fairy Camp Destiny when I lived in Northfield, and I happened to be dating a man that worked with developmentally disabled people. And he called them his angels, and he would refer to them as struggling to be human. And, you know, the angels struggling to be human just made so much sense to me. It just felt like that was my life, you know? So I wrote it sitting in my bedroom. It all came just like that, you know?
Well, it is a special song that we all associate with you, and it brings tears every time we hear it. And Yolanda, thank you so much. Congratulations on your journey so far, and good wishes on your future journeys. And may our paths cross many, many more times.
Absolutely, my love. And tell Lucy Bell and Marguerite, you know, give them my love, okay?
I will. Thank you so much. And here is Angels.
Okay. So we begin.
Why do you feel so out of place? So out of touch with the human race? You don't seem to understand why your brother won't lend a helping hand. Why do people tear apart your tender heart? Why does the nighttime seem so dark when the light shines inside your heart? We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. You tell me of the things you feel. You push away, then you pull me near. You tell me of your fantasy. I love the way that you speak honestly. Why is it so hard to love the one you've been dreaming of? Don't you see yourself in me? Don't you see what we can be? We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. Time heals all pain. That's the way of the world. Time will bring you round again. Ooh, that's the way of the world. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Roger Anthony Yolanda Mapes.
Now what I'm noticing is where I'm stuck, you know, how I judge other people by the way they look or what they're saying or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm finding my obstacles that stand in the way of my peace.
What a special song, a special message, a special person. Thank you, Yolanda. Always, always. Okay, so getting back to the show.